At 4:47 yesterday afternoon, the first severe cell fired near Cedar Rapids, Iowa. By the time you finish this video, that same line will be hitting Chicago. It does not stop there. By Thursday afternoon, it crosses Lake Michigan. By Friday morning, it reaches the Atlantic. That is the shape of this video, a single front moving 1,400 miles east in 60 hours. 8 states in its path, 47 million people in the slight risk or higher. Let us follow it city by city, hour by hour, and see what it does as it goes. Cedar Rapids felt it first yesterday, Davenport felt it 3 hours later, Rockford felt it overnight. This morning, the line sits across northern Illinois into southern Wisconsin. It is reorganizing right now into what forecasters call a bow echo, a curved squall line. A bow echo concentrates wind energy along its leading edge. That energy is what produces straight-line wind gusts above 80 miles per hour. Milwaukee gets its turn between 2 and 4 this afternoon. Chicago between 4 and 7. Gary and South Bend after 7. Fort Wayne around 9 in the evening. Indianapolis between 10 p.m. and midnight. Each of those windows carries the same threat, 70 to 85 mile per hour winds, large hail, isolated tornadoes. The tornado risk is concentrated on the southern flank of the bow echo where it interacts with the warm front. That warm front sits across central Wisconsin into northern Illinois this afternoon. Inside the 10% hatched corridor, EF2 or stronger tornadoes are in the expected range. Hatched means strong tornado, not just any tornado, there is a difference. If you are in Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, or Rockford right now, your sirens may go off before sunset today. That is not hyperbole, that is the SPC outlook in plain English. Now Thursday is when this front does something the front yesterday did not. It gets a second engine. A surface low forms over southeast Colorado overnight tonight. By 5 in the morning Thursday, it is over Kansas City. By 8 a.m., it is approaching Chicago. That low is the new engine. It strengthens the front and accelerates it. Thursday's enhanced risk corridor sits over Chicago, Milwaukee, Rockford, and northern Indiana. The first severe storms fire near Omaha at 4 in the morning. That is before dawn, before commute, before warning. Storms reach Des Moines by 6, Cedar Rapids by 7, Davenport and Rockford by 8. Chicago Metro between 9 and noon Thursday, 8 million people inside that window. The line itself produces damaging winds. The supercells ahead of it produce tornadoes. While the front moves east, the heat dome that has been building over the mid-Atlantic finally peaks Thursday. Philadelphia 94, Baltimore 96, New York 93, Boston 91 and humid, Raleigh 101 that breaks the June record. 80 million people inside a major heat risk zone on Thursday. That is the largest single-day heat exposure of the year so far. Early season heat hits harder than late season heat. For one reason, the body has not had a single warm day to acclimatize. 7 to 14 days of gradual warming is what the body needs. Thursday gives it 0 of those days. For anyone over 65 from D.C. to Boston, Thursday afternoon and evening are the hours that matter. If a parent or friend over 65 lives between D.C. and Boston, Thursday is the day to call them, not Friday. Thursday night is when the front and the heat dome meets. That collision is where the worst Friday severe weather will come from. Cold front pushes east into the Appalachians overnight Thursday into Friday morning. It runs head-on into the moisture saturation that built up over 4 days of 70-degree dew points. That combination is what produces training storms, thunderstorms that repeatedly cross the same neighborhoods. 2 to 4 inches of rainfall in 3 hours becomes a real number for the Appalachian valleys. Pittsburgh, Charleston, West Virginia, Western Maryland, and the Shenandoah Valley sit in the flash flood corridor. Some of those valleys absorbed heavy rain last week. The soil there is already saturated. Friday afternoon, the front reaches the East Coast itself. New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. enter the slight risk corridor by midday Friday. Damaging winds and large hail are the primary threats, tornadoes possible but conditional on storm mode. New York has a 2% tornado risk Friday, low number, not 0. By 9 Friday evening, the front clears offshore and the eastern United States exhales. The tail of the front catches the Carolinas Friday afternoon. Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, and the Virginia Tidewater see scattered severe storms through Friday evening. That tail is the final stop on the journey east after it passes. The front is done. What follows the front matters too because it is something genuinely unusual for mid-June. Behind Thursday's surface low, Canadian air pushes south aggressively. By Saturday morning, dew points in the Midwest drop from the upper 70s to the low 50s. That 25-degree drop in 24 hours is the atmospheric equivalent of someone opening every window in the house. Chicago Saturday morning, 58 degrees, Minneapolis 54, Detroit 60, Cleveland 62, Pittsburgh 64. Those are October numbers reaching the Midwest in the third week of June. The cool down lasts through June 21st before normal summer returns. While the eastern half of the country argues about wind and rain, the Southwest is quietly cooking. Phoenix today 108, Las Vegas 106, Tucson 105. Those temperatures hold all week. They climb back toward 110 by Saturday. There is no front coming to break the southwest heat. The ridge that produces it stays locked through next week. Drought across the Rockies and desert southwest deepens. Fire weather conditions hold elevated. Anyone in Phoenix, Tucson, Las Vegas, Palm Springs, or the Central Valley, your dangerous week is right now. No newcomers to the desert should be hiking or working outdoors between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. through Saturday. In the East Pacific, Tropical Storm Christina is moving along the coast of southern Mexico right now. Its remnant moisture pushes into the Bay of Campeche by Friday and could spin up a Gulf flow next week. Southern Texas, Brownsville, McAllen, Corpus Christi keep watching that moisture surge into next week. Not a forecast, just a window worth tracking through the weekends. That is the whole journey east, start to finish laid out by where and when. Wednesday afternoon, Chicago, Milwaukee, Rockford, Indianapolis. Wednesday night, Detroit, Toledo, Cleveland. Thursday morning, Omaha, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, the Iowa-Illinois corridor. Thursday afternoon, Chicago Metro, Grand Rapids, Fort Wayne. Thursday evening, Lower Michigan, Indiana, Western Ohio. Friday morning, Appalachian Valleys, flash flood threat dominant. Friday afternoon, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington. Friday evening, Carolinas, Virginia Tidewater. Saturday, the front is offshore. The cool down arrives. The southwest keeps cooking. 60 hours, 1,400 miles, 8 states. 47 million people in the path of the storms. 80 million in the path of the heat. The bow echo riding east today started life as scattered supercells over Iowa yesterday afternoon. Around 9 p.m. Central Time, those supercells merged into a line as the cold pool from their downdrafts pushed forward. That cold pool is what curves a line into a bow. The cold, dense air bulges outward at the center. The curve concentrates the wind energy at the apex. That is where 80-mile-per-hour gusts come from. Bow echoes are responsible for almost all the long-track, straight-line wind damage east of the Mississippi each summer. Some bow echoes also produce QLCS tornadoes, short, fast, embedded in the line, hard to see. Those QLCS tornadoes are what the National Weather Service is most concerned about in the Chicago Metro late afternoon today. Embedded tornado warnings give 4 to 8 minutes of lead time, sometimes less. The numbers driving Wednesday's storms: 3,500 joules of mixed-layer instability across northern Illinois. For comparison, the average summer thunderstorm needs about 1,000 joules to fire. 3,500 is what tornado outbreak environments look like. Add dew points in the mid-70s and surface temperatures near 90, and you have what forecasters call a loaded environment. Loaded does not mean guaranteed. It means the ceiling on how bad it can get is unusually high. The June 29, 2010 derecho swept this same corridor from South Dakota through Ohio in 6 hours. That night, 90-mile-per-hour winds knocked out power to 1 million homes and caused $1.7 billion in damage. Today's setup is not identical to 2010, but the bow echo signature is similar enough to warrant the same level of attention. 16 years later, the technology to warn people is far better. The houses and the trees are largely the same. West of the front, drought across the Rockies and Great Basin keeps tightening. Relative humidity over Wyoming, Utah, and Nevada drops into the 10 to 15% range Thursday and Friday. Wind gusts above 40 miles per hour combined with that humidity create critical fire weather conditions across millions of acres. A single lightning strike, a tossed cigarette, an unattended campfire, that is all it takes this week. Behind the front, the atmospheric pattern shifts to what forecasters call a positive PNA. Positive PNA means a strong ridge over the western U.S. and a deep trough over the eastern U.S. That configuration is what pulls Canadian air aggressively south through the central and eastern states. Positive PNA configurations in mid-June are unusual. The last comparable one happened in 1972. Heat index of 105 means the combination of temperature and humidity stresses the body as if it were 105 degrees in shade. At 105 heat index, sweat evaporates slowly, core body temperature climbs faster than the body can shed it. Heat stroke onset can happen in 30 minutes for the elderly and in 90 minutes for fit adults outdoors. Saturday's severe weather threat sets up over Kansas City, southeast Nebraska, and northern Missouri. The mechanism is another cold front pushing south through the cooler regime. Sunday, the threat slides further south toward the Red River Valley in northern Texas. Heavy rainfall in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and East Texas helps fight the drought signal there. That is genuinely good news. Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana cornfields hit critical growth stage this week. 2 to 4 inches of rainfall before Saturday gives those fields the soil moisture they need for July yields. The same storms causing damage on the surface are restoring something underneath it. Mid-Atlantic and northeast rainfall through Saturday morning, 2 to 4 inches widespread. Localized totals of 6 inches possible in the Appalachian valleys where training storms concentrate. That rain shuts down the heat dome decisively Sunday across the East Coast. Feels like September, not June. If your roof has loose shingles, if your trees lean over the house, today is the day to think about it. A few more cities worth flagging by their specific window. Madison, Wisconsin, between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. today at the southern edge of the Hatch Tornado Corridor. Green Bay, between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. wind dominant threat, hail possible. Quad Cities, Davenport, Moline, Rock Island already in the line as of this morning. Peoria and Bloomington, Illinois, between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. tonight. St. Louis sits at the southern flank, slight risk, isolated severe storms tonight into Thursday morning. Detroit at Thursday morning between 10 a.m. and noon line begins to weaken as it crosses Lake Michigan. Toledo and Cleveland Thursday afternoon, primarily wind and hail, tornado risk lower than yesterday. Buffalo and Rochester Friday early morning front is weakening, but heavy rain is the story. Albany and Hartford Friday midday, slight risk, wind and hail. If the front reaches your area in the next 24 hours, 3 things matter most. Charge every phone in the house tonight, not when the sirens go off. Move vehicles out from under trees and power lines before sunsets. Know where you go if a warning fires interior room, lowest floor, away from windows. 5 minutes of preparation now is what makes the difference when the line arrives. One more thing about the journey east worth flagging. The front does not move at constant speed. It accelerates when it meets warmer air, decelerates over cold lakes. Lake Michigan slows the eastern half of the squall line Thursday morning by 30 to 45 minutes. Lake Erie does the same Thursday afternoon, buying eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania a small grace period. That grace period is when you charge the second phone, find the flashlight, move the patio furniture inside. Small windows that the lakes hand you for free. Use them. One last note on what happens beyond the front, because the recovery story has its own arc. Sunday, June 14th, Chicago, 63 degrees, Minneapolis, 56, Detroit, 60, Cleveland, 62, feels like October. Monday through Friday next week stays cool, daytime highs in the mid-60s across the Great Lakes. That cool stretch is genuine relief for everyone who came through this week intact. 60 hours, 1,400 miles, 8 states, 47 million people in the path of the storms, 80 million in the path of the heat. Cedar Rapids was 4:47 yesterday. Chicago is 4 p.m. today. New York is Friday. The front does not know about videos or comments or schedules. It just moves east. That is what fronts do. That is what this one is doing right now.